Okay. All right, let's see. Um, um, um. Let me see here. I want to see. Let's go here. Okay. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Got it. All right. Do. Let's see, actually, Twitch. Hello, anyone watching, by the way. Sorry, just getting started here, and I wasn't ready to start when I started, but I didn't want to wait, so I apologize about that. I am getting ready, though. Just setting some stuff up so I know what's going on with the stream. Should have done that before, but again, I'm impatient. Let's see. Yeah, see, this still says spoopy modeling, and that's not what's happening. Edit stream info. Making assets for a game idea. That's what I'm doing today. And yeah, I'm still not good enough for this. Done. Alright. And then let's go to YouTube. And it didn't change that one either. Come on. And let's go to my dashboard. Guess it's not a dashboard on YouTube, is it? Oh, it is. It just doesn't call it that immediately. I'm streaming right now, YouTube. Come on. I don't, in some ways, YouTube is cool, and then some ways it is not. I don't know. Let's go to YouTube. YouTube proper. Your channel. Okay, I'm not okay, yeah, I was about to say I am. I am streaming, I promise, YouTube. Okay, oh, I came through on my own thing there. Let's see, there we go. Now, this will be, what did I call it on Twitch? Whoop, whoop, whoop. There we go. Control C. Control V. Yeah. Okay. I'll let people know that I'm using Restream here. I don't care. And pardon me. Oh. All right. Save. Okay, well, whatever. I'll leave it like that. I don't know. It's broken. Anyway, I also want to quickly, let me bring up OBS here. Let's see. All right, I want to test chat really quickly. Test. Okay, that shows up. Let's check on YouTube. I really should have done all this beforehand. I regret it now. Your channel. Mute this channel. And test. Is it not connecting to... Okay, no, it is. I don't know. I guess that's just super delayed. There we go. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Close that. I'll leave that open and let's test this. All right. Yeah, cool. There we go. All right. Okay. Let's see. I would like to know. Here we go. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's get started. Okay, so welcome if you're watching to my stream. I'm gonna be making, like the title might say, making some assets for a video game idea that I had that I kind of started already, but it's not very much right now, so I just want to kind of go through. I'm not good at any of this, so keep that in mind. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just doing it, which I suggest you do. Of course, learn over time to know what you're doing. But if you want to do something, just do it. Don't wait to do it until something happens, because then it will probably never happen. So, like I said, I had a game idea, and I was like, man, that would be fun. And I've dabbled in game making ideas before, but nothing really came to me like this one did that was so full and complete. So I have like kind of a full idea for a game that I want to make, and I'm gonna be working on it here, just adding little pieces and bits and bobs and ends. so that whenever I start to like actually work on making the game, uh, I will have everything together so that I don't have to, while I'm like working on the game, I won't worry about like, oh, well, now I need to create this piece for that, and then it'll all just be there for me to grab and stick in. So like here, what I'm working on, let me go OBS and change my camera here. So here, what I'm working on is just the texture for a collectible. And let me throw up, actually, what was that? I'm going to go back to that last image, that last thing. And let's see. No, yeah, this. Let's rename this. Oh gosh, that was loud. Rename to. There we go. All right, we'll come back over here and we will add a browser source and we'll add existing and we'll add that one. Okay. And I'll just move this down here so that chat shows up on screen. I don't know. That's a good spot for it. Okay. I also just want to keep that chat over there. So let's just move this like right here. Okay. All right. Yeah, so this what I'm working on right now. This is what I am working on right now, and it's just a texture for a collectible. And let's see. I've already modeled it, so let's go over to Blender. That's what this is. And I'm gonna slap that little texture onto here very, very simply. Nothing complex or anything, but I do want to get this solidify modifier on here. Gonna apply that. I like the low resness. I don't want this game to be like super high detailed. It's gonna be like an N64 game. I'm very nostalgic for Nintendo 64. That's like where I live in my brain as far as gaming goes. So that is what I'm let's see, going to be making most of any game that I make. If I make a game, who knows? I might not finish this. There's a lot that I don't finish. But if this does get finished and I make another one, it'll be probably an N64 style game. Mark seam. Alright, we'll just split this. I want to come to my UV editor. I want to hit A to select everything and U to unwrap. And that is awful. Which side is what though? Yeah, that's actually not awful because it's the side I want to be the front. So this I can just select and make tiny and move like over here. And then this I can select and really I just want the majority of the image like right here. And the rest doesn't matter to me. So now what I'll do is we'll add a material. That's going to take a second because I have the world's slowest computer. And actually, as well, let me move this over here. Let's get some music playing. I don't know what to flip and play. We'll do this very quietly. I think that's good. Is that too loud? Let's just turn it down here. There we go. I think that's good. All right. And if there are any music requests, I don't mind playing some other music. So, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, materials added. We're gonna come over here. I just find it easier to work in the shader editor than over here. I've really learned nodes pretty well. I know where everything is. Then I can't find something. That would be pretty funny. And where did I save that? That's in here. Here. I have horrible naming conventions. I apologize. Let's see. UV. Okay. It's going to take a second. Let's let that load. Yeah, look at that. That's basically what I wanted. Except it's upside down. So. No, R180. Enter. There we go. That's my code. I might work on it a little bit more later, but I mean, essentially, that's my code collectible right there. And I want to animate it. I want it to kind of float. So I'm going to get that done. Now, I don't know if I can, the way that I want to make it float, I'm wondering if I can do it so that when I export it to Godot, if it will work. So that's all pretty much good. I do want to make it, I don't know if this matters because Godot's just going to give it its own settings really, but we're just going to do that because it looks better here. I really like the way this looks. This is our little script. Alright, and so what I'm going to do to animate this is first, I just want to set the amount of time the animation takes. So let's go.
But you actually need to say, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. That's right. The local State Farm agent is there to help you.
How many times? Let's think. I'm trying to think about the timing that I want here. This is where things get weird because it's not important exactly, but it is a nice touch. And I want to add just little niceties so I don't, again, have to worry about them in the future. And so the question I'm asking myself now is how many times do I want it to rotate before it loops? That way I can fit in bouncing, because if I want it to bounce kind of randomly and quickly, like if I make it just loop full 360 and then repeat and then loop after that, uh, then I can only fit so many bounces inside of that one full 360, unless it's very slow, which is kind of boring. Um, so that it would just repeat that bounce too. So if it was like 1 second long, which wouldn't be very many frames in the first place, probably around 30. So if it did a full 360 in 30 frames, I would only be able to fit probably one little bounce. But if I did it, let's say every second, it rotated, so we had it rotating once in a second. Let's just see what that looks like. Let's come over to 30 frames, R on the Z, 369.1. All right. And now let's get our graph editor so I can just... And this is the stuff that I'm not sure if it'll carry over into our game engine. Let's go to interpolation. I want to lock the location and the scale. Interpolation linear, and then let's add a modifier to our Z rotation. And I want to do cycles. There we go. So now every 30 seconds, or every 30 frames, I'm sorry, this repeats. So if I play it, we've got that going on. And that's a little bit fast, but the good thing is, now that we've done that, let's pull it out to, is that on 80? Yeah, that's on 80. Okay. And I don't hate that. I know on stream it looks really choppy. It's not that choppy. I just have a crap computer, so don't worry about it too much. So we have this nice little this is a good rotation speed. Now what I want to do is I'm happy with the way it rotates now. Let's get the Z location and add a modifier. Noise. So now we can see that it's jittering up and down, and we can mess with this a little bit. Strength, that's what I want to mess with. And this is going to affect how much it jitters up and down. And now let's mess with scale so that it's a lot smoother. Let's see, restrict to frame range. Start at 1 and end at 250. And now it should, theoretically, blend well together. Let's just do 1 and 1. Look at that. It doesn't blend super well. Let's do less here. Let's do it like that. Let's Let's do 50. Control C, Control V. And we have it set to 80 for the rotation. Let's just do 80 times 6, enter. Not 86, 80 times 6. There we go. And that's at 480, so end at 480. Oh yeah? Hello, sorry for bothering you. I want to offer a promotion of your channel. No, thank you. But I appreciate you stopping by, but I do not want to be promoted. I don't have money. Let's see. It looks like it has a little bit of a... Let's turn this to like 100 and see what that does. Why does it feel like it's 48 is a... Let's see, let's not... Why is it doing that? That looks weird. So let's lock the Z. Let's come to these two rotations. Let's go A and X. Let's go A and X. No, not that. Let's go here. No. Boom, boom, A and X. There we go. Now all I have... Yeah, it's not looping well. And it should be, by everything that I understand. Huh. Let's go to 240. Because that should be 4 rotations. Let's go ahead and X delete keyframe. There we go. I rotation. Then we'll go to 80. And we'll rotate 360 degrees on the Z-axis. And we'll hit I, rotation, A, interpolation mode linear. And we'll add the modifier cycles. There we go. Now it should loop perfectly. It looks like it does. It has that weird little reset there. Maybe it's just because my computer is slow. Wonder if we just go back to 239. Nope. I don't know what the problem is, but I don't I don't know what's going on. I'm just messing with stuff right now, just trying to figure out why it's not looping well. Let me see. What if I do this?
Some people just know how to get a deal. Those are the people who know to choose Allstate. They know the thrill of the hunt when it comes to finding online promo codes. They know you gotta haggle with kindness, buy winter coats during the summer, and that sometimes a 3-hour drive is what it takes for that amazing set of antique chairs. Those people also know that you can bundle
Okay,
home
and
and
then I
auto
come
with
to our
discounts
last
from
frame
friends
here.
at Allstate.
Then I R and the Z. Okay, Alt R, so it's cleared. Let's just clear this delete keyframe. We'll go back one frame, forward one frame. R on the Z, 360 times
With the purchase of a medium or larger coffee, you can add
4.
a donut, $2 bagel minis, or $3 sausage, egg, and cheese. Head to
I
Dunkin' for more
rotation
deals on food for $1, $2, or $3 when you buy a medium
and
or larger
interpolation
coffee.
linear.
America runs on Dunkin'. Excludes specialty donuts and fancies. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer. Terms and exclusions apply.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's Jennifer.
I missed it. I
just
wasn't
got an
looking.
alert for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure you're
That's
never held
way
responsible.
smoother. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Let's get rid of this.
Let's see. Did you purchase something from a t-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I
We
ordered
don't need
one for
that.
free.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays.
We
to
can
Discover.
delete both
Learn
of
more at
these.
discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
That's all we need. All right, we've got that going successfully. Now let's just go pause and G on the Z. Let's go boom, G on the Z. I location. All right. Add a modifier. Noise. What is it doing? Oh, I see what happened. I'm dumb. That's what happened. Alright, there we go. Now let's add noise. And here we are looking at our noise for the Z-axis, which right now, again, very jittery. It's hard to even see, it's so small, but if we beef up the strength, we can really see it doing its thing there. I like the range there. So let's just let's up the depth and then let's up the scale. Really up the scale here. Now, one thing I learned about doing stuff like this is if you can match like this, coming in almost matches perfectly, but it really dips low. So let's increase up too much depth. Okay. Let's turn the scale, let's just turn the depth all the way down. I want it to be smooth. I don't want to see jittering. And then I can turn the scale down and find somewhere where it comes back up We actually want it to come down into that. There we go. So this should be a nice loop right now. Not perfect, but nice. Yeah, that's actually really good. Nearly perfect. And I'm just going to unbeef this strength. Alright, and then what I want to do is restrict the frame range from 0 to 240. Actually, let's go to 241. And then we want to blend by 10. And I think this might work. This might not work. Yeah, no, I don't want to blend anything. I just want to go by my gut. I think that looks good. Okay, and we'll go to Object. And we'll apply our animation. I think I can do that. I've never done this before. Let's go to Animation. I don't know what this does. Keyframe from the final transformations. Okay. There we go. Yeah, that did it. Those are all keyframes now. So this thing is keyframed up. So now it's not relying on modifiers. It's just doing what it does. So now every one of those movements is a keyframe. So now this is just the way this does. Alright, let's save this. I want to add a new folder. Collectibles. And we'll call this, what did I call it? Code collect. Alright, so now we have code collect in our game. Let's work on a new thing. Actually, I just want to export the OBJ as well. Code collect, selected only. And I am in the right folder, right? Yeah. There we go. Alright, file, new, general. Alright, let's make our next item here. Sorry, just checking on the stream here. Let's see, I don't need to do that. Alright, Okay. Um, 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 um. The next thing that I want to make is what is going on? Did I just break YouTube? I think I broke my YouTube. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to figure out how to get here. I'm already streaming. Let me in, YouTube. Let's see what this does. Okay. I don't know. There we go. No, it's not made for kids. Save. All right. Okay. Now I do have. Now I can check on both. Okay. All right. Let's go over here. I think I can edit this now. No, that's not what I want to. Sorry, guys. Edit. Let's see. Sorry, guys. Just editing some details about the stream here. What am I doing? Making things. Let's just say that. That's good for me. All right. And now let's get back to what I was doing. So yeah, so now what I want to create is like a so without giving too much away about the way I want to make my game, there's like two halves of my game, and in the first half, you're kind of fixing the second half. So what I want is like tech pieces. Like I don't know, maybe circuit boards or little diodes or something, as um if we're comparing it to like Banjo-Kazooie, these would be the puzzle pieces. The little code pieces that I just made were like the notes of Banjo-Kazooie. If you've ever played Banjo, or in Mario, the coins and the stars. These little tech pieces that I'm about to make will be like the stars, and the script collectibles I just made would be the coins. So I need to work on my stars, which I don't know what they are. I don't know what I want them to be, but I want them to be like physical pieces of technology. How do we represent that? That's the question. So we could make like a little circuit board maybe, or let's see. I do have this stylized tech just to look for cool ideas. Um, and if anybody is watching and has an idea, I'm open to suggestions entirely. So if you want to help out, if I don't think it will ever happen, but if this does become an actual game on a marketplace somewhere, I'll be happy to put your name in the credit somewhere for helping me out. Like, again, though, I don't think that would ever happen. It's very unlikely. This is just a project for fun. What's this?
An official offer to buy or trade your car. Just enter your VIN or license plate. Answer a few questions about your car's history.
Let's see, stylized diodes.
Minutes, you'll receive an offer to sell or trade your car that you can be sure is fair. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car and schedule a time to meet.
So these are LEDs,
KBB.com.
anodes and cathode. When I think of diodes, what am I thinking of? Because it's none of this. Let's just look at diodes. What does that give me? Yeah, this is what I think of when I think of a diode. These kinds of things. Maybe, oh, that would be cool too, like collecting different kinds of diodes to apply to different applications. This vacuum diode is sick, but it's too outdated for my idea. But that's a really cool look. A laser diode. An LED diode. An ATM machine. A tunnel diode. I don't know what a lot of these do, even. Honestly, I know what this one does. The easy ones, honestly. This one I only know what it does because of its name. I've never seen one. I know what this is. I think when I think of diodes, I honestly think of resistors. Which I guess those aren't diodes at all. Yeah, I think of resistors as well. What about like a chip? Like a... what are those called? Chip set. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking of when I say chipset. But I think of the longer, little spider-looking ones. So I guess it's not a set. Let me just Google. Actually, let's... Yeah, these things. This would be cool to make in 3D too. I think this is what I'm going to use. These are going to be our stars. This one right here. So I'm going to model this. It's so simple. Let's just model that quickly in Blender. And maybe we can make it, we can stylize it a little bit. But let's just make a basic one first. See what we think about it. So it's super simple. There we go. It's really just a cube. Well, let me close Photoshop. My computer is. We don't need to save, so let's just close. Then we'll go S on the Y. And we'll scale it on the Z one more time just to get it perfect. I think that's pretty good. I just want to add a little. It seemed to have a little bit of girth coming out. Alright, and I'm just going to use planes. Let me do it this way, it'll be easier to work with. G on the Y. We'll make the shape. Alright, so this is where it's gonna bend. So, and then it'll shrink right there. I'll grab these guys, S on the X. Now we'll go 1, 3, I guess. R 90 negative, enter. Alright, and let's just refine that curve a little bit. There we go. Look at that. We got our little metal prong. Now the reason I made it a separate object is so that I can come in and use modifiers, because modifiers make everything easier. And then let's just move this little bad guy back on the x-axis. We'll scoot it in here. Let's look at our reference again. It appears to be right in the middle. Okay. We'll have it a little bit higher. And we'll pull it out just a little bit more. And now, we'll add another modifier. Not that one yet. We want to pull this out just a little bit. And now we can add a bunch of them. Look at that. Look at that. We'll make these shade them smooth. No, shade smooth. Tab. Alt A. Let's actually, I think I want that curve to just be a little bit more sharp. There we go. Alt A, and then what we can do is just give these some quick materials here. We'll make this like a really dark gray. And then we'll make these new a really light gray. Again, I'm not going to worry about making them shiny because Godot doesn't care about that. And let's just go to material preview, Alt A. Look at that little chippy boy. Let's see. Yeah, see, it does have that little, at least this one does. I don't know if they actually, I don't look that closely at chips, computer chips.
Some people just know the
But I think this looks good.
Those are the people who know to choose Allstate. They know exactly where to go to get exactly what you're
So, oh, look, it's poking out a little bit here.
The gooeyest brownies and the tenderest, most flavorful portobello steak. Those people also know that
Portobello steak. Okay. There we go. We'll just get the roughness turned all the way up on that. There we go.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Come to you.
It's
Let's
Jennifer
just
Cooley.
apply all the
Just
modifiers.
for a strange charge on my card.
No problem. We make sure
And
you're
we'll
never
join
on
these
the
two
phone
together.
with
Look at
authorized
that.
purchases on your Discover card.
We'll go to Object,
See.
Set Origin to
Purchased something
3D
from a
cursor.
T-shirt cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not. No, I
All
already
right.
have like 3.
$0 fraud liability guarantee.
And
Ages to discover.
um,
Learn more at
I think what I want to do,
Limitations apply.
Coffee run? My treat. Oh, thanks. My New Year's resolution is spending less.
Alt,
Do what I did.
Control Z.
Metro and get one line with all the data you need for $25 a month. Any contracts or other yada yada? Nope. At Metro, there's no contracts and not
There we
yada
go.
yada. Keeping my resolution is going to be so easy.
And I just want it to do,
$5 a month with AutoPay. Only at Metro by T-Mobile. First month is $30, but AutoPay knocks it down to $25 every month after.
this one I want to be a lot more simple, but a little bit slower too. So we'll go to like 100. So we'll I rotation, and we'll come to the frame 100. We'll go R on the Z, 360. I rotation. We'll end it at 100. Oh, we need to make that linear. Or do we? Do we like the way it speeds up and then slows down? No, it needs to be linear. There we go. Now do I add a little motion in the z-axis? I think I'm going to add motion in the z-axis, but not random noise. I think what I want to do, we'll do this. And then we have 100, so every 25 frames, so in the first 25, it's going to go up 1. And it automatically set a keyframe for me there, so let's jump forward to 50. And we'll go G on the Z, -2. This might look really weird, but we'll see. Let's go to 75. G on the Z, 1. Yeah, this was not the right move. G on the Z, -1. Alright, now 75. G on the Z, -1. And then at 100, I don't know what I just did there. 100. G on the Z, 1. And now we should have a pretty good interpolation linear. Actually, I know what I can do to make this smoother. Interpolation Bezier. And let's go to pause. 125. Where are we at on one? Okay, that's why. But let's go to 125 and move up. Z 1. There we go. And then let's go to negative 25. And move. Oh, come on. Let me work in the negative space. You know what? Why can't I come back here? Well, then what we'll do is if we're going over, oh, I guess this would just go to G to 25. Good. Okay. And now this is to match. 80 is. This is our last one, so yeah. So it's coming up. So I go back to 0. G on the Z negative 1. Alright, and we'll do. Okay, so we'll start at 25. Okay, let's see how that works. A interpolation Bezier. Let's get rid of this graph editor. Play. See, that's why. I was like, that's not right. 125. This should loop perfectly, honestly. It's not perfect, but whatever. Right now, it's good enough. How do I make this look more spectacular, though? Let's just, I don't know. Let's save this for now. It's good enough to get me going. I can polish things later. That triple C, though. All right. And let's export it. Select it only. All right, let's minimize. Minimize. Okay. All right. What next? What next? I didn't plan out to this far. Actually, let's see. Um, 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 um. So if you're watching, what I want to do is just show you like an idea for a level that I had recently, and I kind of just blocked it out in Blender, like the way the level would work. So let's look at that. That might be a little bit fun. I would play what I have of the game on stream, but again, my computer is garbage, and when I'm streaming, it just... We'll give it a shot here in a minute, but like I said, when I'm streaming, it just doesn't. I plan on getting a new computer sometime early this year, but for now, this is what I got. So, let's go ahead. I saved this. Let's open a recent file. Train level.blend. So this is just to help me visualize the way I want to work this level. So basically, actually, this came to me in a dream. And it's very much inspired by Star Fox 64, where you're like following the train and there's like a monster. There's the front of the train. There's a monster attached by a rope to the train, and you have to kill the monster while following the train, and there's obstacles coming at you as you're following the train. So this is kind of just the little cinematic I made here to... So we're like riding the train here, and actually this camera moves it just to maybe, I don't know, if we introduce the level through a cinematic, this would kind of be the way it did it. But the idea is that, oh, I don't have that visible. The idea is that you, what is my stream doing over here? YouTube is on something. Oh, I'm not live anymore. That's why. That's just, yeah, okay. So, oh, let me just, boom. There. You start off at the very back of the train, and the idea is that on top of each of these cars with boxes on them, there will be enemies that you need to fight and get rid of. And then when you get rid of them, you can hop up onto this car and make your way across. But as you're coming across the cars, one of these gates that we just had pass by that the camera likes to look at will come, so you need to hurry across before you get hit by a gate. So you're jumping up, you're crossing that gate, and you're making your way to the next section to defeat the guys. And then as you get towards the end, see, here's the gate. Let's go. Whoop. See. You can't jump over the gate. You're just on the cars, under the cars, on the cars, under the cars. So it's all about timing and then just the pressure of being on this moving object. It's not a very long level. It's not a very long game that I want to make. But this is like very much a cool idea that I had for a level. And then let's see. We'll close this. I don't think I did. Yeah, I didn't do anything worth saving here. So that's closed. Let's open up Godot. And I am using some things from like the Godot asset library that they provide for you. Some MIT programmed stuff, because it just makes things a lot easier. Will I use that for the final project? Maybe. I don't know. I have made my own character movement engine before. It's just a lot of work. Oh, hi, Bardos2. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate that, man. Or woman. Or other. Whatever. Whatever you prefer. I don't mind. Anyway. Get off of that. There we go. Let's see. So, again, I have a garbage computer. You saw those warnings telling me that my computer isn't good enough to run the good version of this. Again, planning on getting a new computer soon. So if we come over here, this also the first half of the game might kind of be a horror game because it's a little bit different. So here's the little world that I have made. Nice little fishing pole. So let's see if I can play this. I am making a game, yeah. Will it ever become a real game? I don't know. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm really bad at completing projects that I start. Let's see. It looks like my stream is having some problems. Let me check OBS really quickly. No, I'm doing alright. Not dropping frames, I'm just having some problems looking at Restream. So I'm just going to pause this. And come over and let's just close that. Okay. Oh, nice. Yeah, Blender is a lot of fun. A lot of cool stuff you can do with it. I would definitely suggest watching tons of tutorials. It's complicated at first. Oh yeah, so it's not exactly a tutorial, but it is, I am talking about, as I do things inside of Blender, I do talk about what I'm doing. So hopefully you pick up some things that I do. If you have any suggestions, I mean, yeah, sure, I'll teach you some stuff. Let me see. Let me reopen Blender here. Again, slow computer, it's going to take a little second. A longer second than normal, it looks like. I am on Twitch as well. I'm doing both right now. I'm broadcasting to Twitch and YouTube. Yeah, I prefer YouTube personally. I started making content on YouTube. So I don't really do a whole lot on Twitch, but I do stream there. Like right now I'm on Twitch and YouTube. But I think I stick mostly to YouTube. I like to make videos. I like video editing. So I like VODs more than streaming. But again, I stream all the times. Not all the time, but whatever. Let's see. Is there anything you want to learn in specifically? I'm not exactly an artist, but I know a lot about Blender. I love to mess with nodes, like material nodes and such. Where are you at as far as your knowledge of Blender? Let's see. I can geometry nodes as well. I'm also using kind of an older version of Blender. I'm using 3 point something and 4.0 is out. But again, old computer. Okay. So you're still kind of a beginner here. All right, let's see. I guess I'm really good with material nodes. and messing around with that stuff. I don't, I'm not a mathematician, so I can't like make geometry with material nodes. Some people can, but I have, let's see, I have created quite a few really cool materials. Let's see. So let's go to, let's just make one from scratch. Let's not look at one and then let's just start from scratch. And let's make like a rock texture from like a procedural rock texture. So I'm just gonna create a little sphere here. We'll shade smooth so that we can see it. And I like to always just use the Cycles render engine because it looks better. I have finished games before. I don't put them on any marketplace or anything, and then I delete things over time, or life happens and my computer. I have to get a new computer, so I don't have anything finished on this computer really. But I have finished some projects before, mostly 2D games. Nothing. I'm trying to remember if I've ever made like something I would consider a finished 3D game. That also has to do with my preference. Yeah, let me say. So for me to go to the render, it's Shift Z, or not Shift Z. Now I don't know. Okay, so if I want to, it's just Z. My brain kind of froze there. If you push Z on the keyboard, it pops up our little menu here so that you can select what kind of render mode you want to look at. Shift Z will automatically switch you between wireframe and I think whatever the last one you were in. Yeah. Yeah. So actually let's just cover some of those basics like hotkeys. I'm sure you know like G is for grabbing. If you press G to grab something, and then if you push X, it locks it onto the X axis here. So now it only moves that way. If I push Y, it locks it to the Y axis, and the same with Z for the Z axis. Okay. Tab is edit. I'm sure you know that. Yeah, let me see. So that I'm not trying to explain everything to you that you might know, let me come up here and we'll go to Preferences. And I know there's an add-on that displays what buttons I'm pushing. And I'll just activate that. So if you don't know, you think so? Well, thank you for the comment about my voice. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I could. I have a. I agree with you. I think you're right. My channel does look dead. I don't do a whole lot right now. But I should. And I agree with you entirely. But I have a weird. I love my channel, which is dumb. But you're right. You're absolutely correct. I just need to get over my connection to my channel, which is silly because it's a YouTube channel. Let's see. Where is that? Let's just go to 3D view. Mum. Well, what would it be? Video tools? No. All. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of my content was like, I had like a quote unquote show, series called The Gray K Plays, which maybe I could just brand this channel as, and then make The Gray K my actual, like, tutorial indie development channel. Let me see. I'm trying to find that stupid add-on. I know it exists. I'm just bad at. I'll just say what I push. I've done some tutorials before, so I know how. It's in UI. I don't know where it's at. Interface. Why is it only showing me like? Oh well, we'll just move on. We'll move on. Screencast. Okay. Yep, that's right. You're absolutely correct. Why is it not? What is going on? I don't know. I don't even see it here. I thought it was. I've seen it so many times, but maybe you're right. I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just call out what I'm doing as I do it. All right. So, you know, yeah, I don't have it. This is where I imagine I would find it. Or over here. But it's not there. So what we'll do is, like I said, I'll just call out what I do. If you miss something, Fluent Materializer good for textures. What do you mean? I am good at like creating procedural textures. Yes. Is that what you were interested in right now? Because I'm that's what I was about to start doing if you want to go that way. Yeah, I mean, I'm more than happy to kind of I was kind of at a stopping point for myself anyway, so I'm more than happy to kind of go on this little adventure. All right, let's do that. So yeah, so we'll make we'll try our best to make a rock texture and see what we come out with. And I have no plans, so we're just starting completely from scratch. So we'll come over to our shader editor and we'll add a new material. And so here we are. Let's give more space for this. And let's just grab this guy. And I am using Node Wrangler, which is an add-on. And it's available in the preferences here. Why is nothing showing up? Because I'm definitely using Node Wrangler. What is going on? I just want to see if it shows up in just material. Node. I think my current copy of Blender is just, this has got to be a bug. I think that's what it is. OD. Yeah. I think it's just a bug right now. But yeah, I'm using Node Wrangler. So you can, if you want to kind of use some of the shortcuts that I use inside the nodes, you'll just have to activate Node Wrangler. So let's start with, I always like to start with just making the imagery of it. So we're going to Shift A to add a texture, which is going to be, for rocks, I like to go with a Voronoi. I don't know how to say that word. That I might be wrong. That's Voronoi. Don't know. And with Node Wrangler, I can hit Control T, and that gives me my texture coordinates. I always like to hook up object to the vector. And then if I hit Control Shift and click on that, it automatically connects it to my output so that I can see what I'm doing with the texture. And then this is where I just kind of play around with stuff. And this is always good because it creates this faceted look. And you can also Control Shift and click again, and it'll change it to the next available option, Control Shift. And if you don't know, these colors represent where the center of our mapping is at. So at the corner of each of these colors, if you follow it in that axis, it's the center of our map. So if I move the location of our mapping, you'll see that that blue, this moves with it. So that's really helpful to know when you're making procedural textures. So we'll come back to distance because that's a good one to use for this. And we'll scale it up or scale it down. Make it bigger is what I want to do.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Anjali.
Hi, it's just.
And
I just got an alert for a strange charge on my card.
let's
No problem.
see.
We make sure you're never held responsible
I'm going
for
to go to color,
purchases on your Discover
add a
card.
mixed color.
Easy.
We'll set this here.
Purchase something
Connect
from
the
a T-shirt
factor.
Cannon store yesterday?
Absolutely not.
We'll use gray color here.
$0 fraud liability guarantee. It pays to discover.
And we'll
Learn
make
more at
this a little bit more gray.
Limitations apply.
And this is kind of our basic setup for our rock face texture. And I mean, that's already pretty good. It's not perfect, but if we hook it up to this and bring this in here, it kind of looks like a rock already. And that was very little work to do this. Going forward, something I like to do a lot of the time, like it's kind of a boring looking rock. You can also edit these inside of there. So let's select a noise texture. And we'll just map this to the same mapping we have for this guy. And we'll bring this into, let's give it a color ramp. And anytime I add anything, it's always Shift A. I'm sure you know that. We'll hook this faction up to this faction. And this color up to color A. We'll do that. And let's move this. And now what we'll do, so I'm not liking that it completely got rid of the look of the faceted look here, because now it kind of just looks like all color. Let me see. Let's go to multiply and see. No. Maybe if I make this darker. Yeah, it's not exactly. So when you run into problems like this is really where you got to explore kind of what you're doing. Because if you understand the basics of what's happening here, then you can kind of troubleshoot. Yeah, I see that. It does look very moon-like. Which, I mean, yeah, low poly. I am a big fan of like low poly aesthetics as well. We can just quickly, boom. And what I did there was just that automatically added a subdivision modifier. And I just hit, when I selected it, I hit Control and 2. And that will automatically apply a subdivision surface. I've never tested it, but let's test it now. If I come and I push Control 5, let's do lower. Control 4, I wonder if it'll subdivide it 4 times. Yep. So we just learned something together, which is awesome. But yeah, it's usually just Control 2, and it applies as 2 subdivisions as a modifier, and really smooths it out there. So yeah, what I'm gonna do to try to get that faceted look that I had back is I want to mess with my Voronoi texture. I want to make it influence this more. So actually, I'm gonna copy this color ramp, and I'm gonna hit backspace, and this can work as like a curve editor because the influence comes from the black and whiteness of this. So if I beef this up, yeah, you can kind of see. So if we pinch these in, there we go. You really see that facetedness coming back. So what I want to do is let's change this to constant. We'll move that all the way back, and I'll move this over to see kind of, but it's looking really not flat enough for my liking. And this is just whole pieces. So let's come to position. I don't imagine this is going to do much better. Yeah. So we'll come back to distance. So this is where you kind of have to play with the way this looks. Let's come this way. Yeah, either way, we're going to want to not use. I am very much a fan of low poly, so I'm excited to see what you're suggesting I watch. I'm wondering what I can do to make this look more faceted and less circular. Let's see. And a lot of stuff in Blender is just figuring stuff out. Let's see. Let's mess with this. Let's see what we get. That appeared to have broken it, but I think it might have fixed some stuff too. Okay, there we go. That's very much. You see? Just playing around. So now what I can do is take this and we'll invert it. Actually, yeah, that's what I want to do. Because I want the black sections to be filled in with the noise. And I want these sections to be where I have this black. I could also maybe do this. Yeah. So I didn't even need to invert it. And now we have this. And I can change this to be a darker gray. Let's go to mix. Make this like a darker gray. Almost black. And now we can mess with what we have here. And I just want to pinch this in here. And this is just to create more contrast for this. And I'm just going to beef up the detail. And then the roughness as well, which is going to... Yeah, a cursed, yeah, football or soccer ball, yeah. So if I beef this up a little bit, so you see we get a lot more detail in here. And then we'll maybe bring it a little bit so it's darker. Going the wrong way. Not quite that dark. Let's change this color to gray. That way it never gets black. And let's also make this gray so that we don't have any full... There we go. So now we have that much of this. And it's still a ball, and we don't want this to be a ball. I'm not exactly happy with the colors right now, but let's make it look less like a ball so that it's more... Yeah, so it's more rock-like, because it's hard to see as a rock when it's just this round thing. And what we're going to do with that is take what we have for these. We have this information here. And we're going to apply that. Let's see, we're going to come over to our material settings here. And if we come down to settings, and we change displacement from bump only to displacement and bump. Yeah, so as far as like procedural textures, I'm not sure how well they translate over to if I were trying to make this as an asset for a video game. I'm not sure how well they would translate into a game engine. That's why most games use like images for textures. This would be strictly what we're doing here for animating inside of Blender. So are you interested in making video games or animating? Or just making still images even. This would be good for that. Anything inside of Blender, the procedural stuff is great for. Let's see it. And I think with what I'm doing here, let's just see what this does, because I never remember which way is what. So we've changed this to displacement and bump. And now I want to come down here and come to vector and select displacement so that we go from making this black and white to being like displacement information. Yeah, something cool. Yeah, so like, but do you... Okay, so yeah, I think your interests match kind of mine. You just like making 3D stuff, and you want to make cool stuff. That's me. Yeah, I think you and I have similar interests as far as using Blender goes. So this is helpful for you. It wouldn't. So like what we're doing here, like I said before, it wouldn't exactly work well for video games. Yeah. Animation is a pain. I've dabbled with like actually animating characters and stuff. Um it's I love it, but I got to say I'll be 3 hours in and look at my animation of my character walking across something and I'm like, this is garbage and I want to quit. And then I quit. But I do have some videos that we could watch here in a minute of some animations that I've done that are garbage, absolute garbage. But I've done them. Let's see. And then rigging is something else. I don't enjoy creating a rig for a character, but I do enjoy using a rig for a character, so it must be done. I'm going to hook this color up to the height on this displacement, and then just quickly hook this displacement up to our displacement here. And it does something weird. Yeah, so it's in, I think, no, maybe it's not. Let's just scale it down a little bit. What am I doing? Mid-level? I think what I want to do is also mess with this color range here. So we're going to just duplicate this, hit it here, put this in here. We'll take that down there. And we'll mess with these colors so that we get a more so we want to make this more middle of the road. Let's just see what we're doing with this. Yeah, no, this. Let's make this white and these gray. And then we'll go there. Let's see. We'll beef up the scale. There we go. We're starting to get something a little bit different. And we'll just swap these colors here. Let's see. If you hit shift while sliding a slider, it really slows it down for you so you don't have to. I'm trying to get this to be more flat, but I'm not sure what I'm doing exactly to do that. I wonder, no, that's not going to do anything. It is always going to look, pretty round. So, and this is just an example. We're not actually making a rock here. I think if I were to try to make a rock, what I would do is maybe get this guy and then take the subdivisions down to something like that, scale it on the Z a little bit, and then kind of rotate it a little bit, and then scale it on the Z one more time. We'll move it out. So that looks more rocky, low poly rock. And then if we apply this texture to that, and then you can just mess with what you have here. So if we come over here, we don't really need to mess with that, but let's mess with the scale of this Voronoi. You can really get some interesting results. And that's kind of the magic of procedural textures is that they're completely editable. Like any aspect of this. Like say I'm not happy with the way this looks. Like I think right now it is too dark. I'm not happy with that at all. So if I just come over here and we take these colors and just lighten them up a little bit. Actually, let's leave this one a little bit dark. Really dark, actually, and just slide this one backwards. Maybe a little bit too much there. And then we lighten this up. And now we have a pretty decent looking little rock texture there. This is great for like just low poly stuff if you want to. Maybe this could be like, let's see, let's hide this. Throw this way back if you're creating maybe a high detailed animation. Even this, just in the background somewhere, looks good. One.
It's time for you to go on a Dunkin'
And maybe even
grabbing your coffee from Dunkin', had a treat, snack or sandwich.
do a quick subdivide inside of here, maybe two.
Add a $1 donut.
And shade smooth.
Or $3 sausage, egg and cheese.
R on the Y, 90 degrees.
$1, $2, or $3 when you buy a medium or larger coffee. America runs
On the X just a little bit.
specialty donuts and fancies. Price and participation may vary. Limited
There we go.
time
So
offer.
now
Terms
it's
and exclusions apply.
sitting there. There you have a little rock just kind of chilling out. And to automatically focus on something like I just did. Like if I want to focus on this plane, it's period on the numpad. You know, I'm not sure if you don't have a number pad. I don't know exactly what that shortcut is. Let's go to solid so I can see exactly. R on the Y. Then you can just kind of set it in the floor a little bit. There you go. Nice little rock. Chilling out. And then you could also, if you want more detail in there, which we'll work on here. So we're looking at this rock, and we're thinking, it's pretty good looking, but it's not perfect. We could take this noise texture and use, come back to vector. We'll grab bump, put that there, and we take the factor, plug that into the height, plug that into our normal, and now it's got this bumpiness about it. We'll let that, give that a second here. And it just adds a whole other layer of dimension. And we can really decrease that strength so that maybe it's just a little bit showing up there. We got some weird stuff going on over here. Oh, that's a shadow. Never mind. I thought it was part of the rock. I was like, what is that? And then we can also, yeah, see, this looks really good right here. I really like the way this area is looking. We can also come in, we'll just take another noise texture. I just want to plug this back into there. Nope, not there. Into there. I'm just going to take this over here. It's kind of messy, but... And then get a color ramp. We'll plug our faction into this faction, and our color into our roughness. I yeah, screencast is important. Yeah, with how fast Blender is updating nowadays too. Like it used to be, you'd wait quite a long time, years for Blender to make a big change, but now Blender's constantly making big changes every few months. Uh I'm very awful at jokes. I think I can be funny, but not on command, unfortunately. Let's see. We've got this plugged into roughness. And maybe if I start getting more and more into streaming and doing things, I get better, more comfortable with jokes and stuff. I'm just always trying to be a little bit careful about the things that I say. I have a very dark sense of humor, and not everybody thinks the jokes that I think are funny are funny. Let's see. So yes, we're plugging this into the roughness. Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, with the roughness here, what this is gonna do is create like a lot of variation. So we want to change. I'm gonna change this to 4D so 3D applies the texture around. It just makes like a 3D volumetric noise, and whatever the surface of our object happens to touch, it shows. I don't know exactly how 4D works, but we can change 4D with this W slider, so we can add different variations. And I want to change the scale here. And then I really want to just pinch this in a little bit. So you see what we're affecting is how shiny it is and where. So let's look at this. So the black spots are going to be shinier. The white spots are going to be more flat. So I don't want anywhere completely shiny, so I'm going to get rid of black because black is completely shiny. I also want the scale to be a lot. I want it to be bigger on our rock. And I also want to lose some of this detail. There we go. I think that's perfect. What do you mean like a big object? Like apply this texture to a big object? Let's see. Let's look at our texture now. So now when we look at this, it's kind of a wet looking rock. And you can really see these shinier areas shining through. Yeah, let's I have a stock Blender man, and we can just make him like a rock golem really quick. So let's go over to my asset browser. Let's go to models. Where is that guy? There he is.
If you love chilling mysteries, unsolved
Let's put that there.
a touch of mom-style humor, Moms and Mysteries is the podcast you've been
Let's just scale him up
Hey guys,
for fun.
And I'm Melissa. Join us every Tuesday for Moms and Mysteries, your gateway to
And
well-researched true crime stories.
now we'll just give him that texture.
Variety of mind-boggling cases as we shed
Oh,
light on
so the displays really changed him up.
podcast for mysteries with a motherly touch. Subscribe
That's
now
funny
to
looking though.
on Spotify and never miss a Tuesday.
I mean, very rock golem-y. But again, this is the magic of procedural textures. If we don't like the way it looks, we can... Wow, that's weird, seeing that hand inside of there. That is tripping me out. So yeah, so like, we're looking at this, and it looks very weird. Let's, first of all, let's just do a Control 2. Just to give them a little more mesh to work with. Let's come back over to our shader editor. And let's work on the way this looks. Because something is weird. Yeah. This thin leg, that does a lot for the creepiness. Alright, let's see. These almost look like little, like twin tails or pigtails coming off. Weird. So, the first problem I think we have here is the scale. So let's just scale this. Let's really scale it up here. Let's just go to 80. Now let's come over here and mess with this. And let's give it a second to render, see what we're doing here. Wow, that is interesting. That very scaly. This texture looks really good on his chest here, though. It's doing some weird stuff, but it's interesting. I'm not sure what it's doing. Let's mess with our noise here, and let's scale this up. Let's come over to our mid-level. I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to figure out. Let's hook up our... That might help out a lot, actually. Yeah, that did a lot. But it's all like drooping down, which actually isn't a bad look. I can change the material preview. My computer just doesn't handle it as well. Give it a second here. It just wants to load. Yeah, it's all right. It's done this before. It just wants to load that texture, and it takes it a second. Especially with something that kind of has a lot going on like this. Again, I do plan on getting a new computer pretty soon. Probably sooner rather than later. This does look much better. But yeah, it's a little bit chunky with the way this looks great actually. And I think that this is excluding our displacement. So I think if I unhooked this, yeah, I don't know if it would change very much. Let's see. I'm just curious. On most computers, Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's just I have a sun set up. But again, also it's Cycles and the Eevee render do a lot different. Which is like I said, I don't think the displacement was doing very much inside of this because this uses the Eevee renderer. Yeah, see, even without that displacement, it didn't do a whole lot inside of here. But that does look really good, like this like a mountain man kind of thing. This looks really good. I do like the way this looks inside of Eevee. Honestly, good enough that I think if we were to look at this in Cycles now, I think it wouldn't be half bad. So let's come and look at his back, because this is the side the sun is on. Yeah. Yeah, again, just, and see, it was that, I mean, it looks a little bit complicated here. This is actually a pretty simple texture. But I mean, we put this together in very little time from scratch with no idea of what we were starting with. So, like, it's really just a matter, and there's lots of different textures and ways to apply things. We didn't do anything too complex here. We just kind of took a texture and applied it to some different colors, used those textures to say what's shiny and what isn't. Let me see. Let's delete this guy. And we'll come down. Let's go back to our material preview. And I'm just going to pull in something I've made before that has some different let's see, materials, some different kind of tricks going on. Let's see. Here's actually, this is like a stone that I worked on for a lot. This one I worked a lot on, and this is a rock that I made. Oh, I just dragged it onto this plane. Let's see, I'm in material preview. Why did that not change? Oh, you know what? It's gonna change now. Okay, yeah, I'll share that. So I'm not exactly certain right now, fully, to be fair. But it's gonna be a little game, and it hasn't been asked, by the way, BC. I want it to be a small game, like a very small indie game. I'm using Godot to make the game. Yeah, this is the rock texture for this, and it's really big here and it's really slow, so I'm also gonna... Oh, no worries, man, I get it. I know what you're saying. We're just gonna take this to rendered so it moves a little quicker. And I just want to hit Control 2 just to show what it's doing, this rock texture. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm just going to subdivide this as well because it's not... Oh, this is going to take ages. Let's get rid of this right now. Okay, while we're doing this, I'll speak about the game. You can't even see anything. Uh, the game. Back to the game. My brain is all over the place. So the concept of the game, the basic concept is you start the game you're not starting the game as the main character, but as a script within the game because the game needs to be debugged. And it's a platforming game. So you start off as a script character inside the game, and you're running around the game, and everything like in the levels is wrong. Yeah, so Godot is it's open source and it's completely free to use, and so are like Unreal and Unity, but Godot has this. I don't know. I love open source software. I love Blender. Godot has and it's just a little bit different. There's something charming about it that I like. I'm a very big fan of low poly, as I've been telling Bardos. Uh, I'm very nostalgic for like Nintendo 64 style graphics, which my game is going to be. Um, and so that's kind of one of the main reasons I'm going with Godot. And then there's just a lot of, because it's open source, there's a lot of free resources that come with Godot. But yeah, so you start the game as a script that is in the game. It's all represented as you're playing a game. And so in the first half of the game, like right now I have like the HUD level, which let me see. Let's look at that really quickly. Let me just we'll minimize this and open a new Blender window. The what I have for the HUD level right now is basically all the lights are off in the game. Like you're outside, but it's completely dark and foggy, almost like a horror game. Let me see, game level 1. So you're in a world that seems happy and cheery, but while you're the script, let me see, we'll get rid of this geometry. Give me a second here. I forgot I had all this geometry node stuff going on. Oh, I applied it. We'll just hide that. There we go. The walls are hidden here. But yeah, so these are like the floors. Very Nintendo 64, Banjo-Kazooie, if you've ever played Banjo-Kazooie. Super Mario 64, sort of. This is this little spiral over here is a tunnel. I've got these nice little pretty flowers. These little purple flowers I made, I really like. And I've also started making mushrooms that I'm trying to get to kind of glow within the level. Which it's all aesthetics, but I really want to focus. Yeah, and I think what it does with my idea of splitting it into two halves, the first half being you're the program fixing the game, and then what you can do after you complete that side of the game is start the game as the main character and play through the game, and then you play the game and the inside the game. Just actually this morning I was thinking about like within this little starting area, have like a tool that you find to maybe open a wall and go into like the backstage of the game. I think that's a really cool idea. Maybe you can come backstage so the game is it's like really fake. So you come back here and maybe the back side of these walls looks like the Matrix code running up it or something. I don't know. But that's kind of my idea. So first half, it's spooky, dark. You're just fixing all the bugs in the game. And then when you get all that fixed And if you miss bugs, uh, like let's say there's a bug like in this world it's actually completely dark. And your character has like a flashlight as you're going around. Let's say you never get the darkness, you never fix that. So when you come into the main game and play that side of the game, this area is just going to be completely dark. I think that's a lot of fun. I think that's a cool idea. I think it adds a lot to the play experience, and you can really change the game that you play at the end by what you do in the beginning. I don't know. It's a really cool idea that I'm very excited about. I don't get excited about my ideas very often, but this one really struck me as a really cool idea. And I still have to design the main character, but I can guarantee it's going to be some kind of anthropomorphic animal like Banjo. Yeah, replayability. That was my goal. I wanted to make a few levels so I can maybe make 5 levels for this game, which would turn into 10 levels. And then 10 levels that could be completely different based on how you play the game. So it's a small game, but at the same time, it's really a very large game. And so, like, with Godot, I think that's very doable, and it's a very ideal kind of game for Godot to make. And if I end up making the whole game and like making it an actual game, I might be able to sell it for like a couple bucks, and that would be sick. And if people like it, maybe I'll make a cool $100 or something. And then, very unlikely, maybe it'll blow up, and then I could get it published on a console or something. That would be insane. That would blow my mind. But yeah, I'm very excited about this game idea. It's probably going to take ages to make, though. But yeah, and so this is the first level idea, and I was showing earlier, I don't know if Bardos was here to see it. Yeah, no, I was showing Bardos, actually. I also have like a train level idea. Let me open that and show you just the basic idea. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do what I want to do. There we go. So this is a train level idea that I got that was inspired by Star Fox. I might outsource the animations. I'm not absolutely horrible at animation. Sometimes I do a decent job. But if I can find someone to outsource the animations to, I definitely will. So this little ditty here is kind of my mock-up level that I made. So let's just come and do a material preview, actually. So I have this little train that I made, and if I click play, we get the animation going. And I'll make this gate visible. So basically this was inspired by like Star Fox 64. I had a dream and I made this level. And you're basically the game version is your character starts here, there's bad guys up here, probably flying bad guys cuz this gate would knock them off or kill them. But and the gate is also not moving the correct speed. I don't know what I was thinking. And you just, different tiers of enemies across on top of all of these. So you defeat the enemies, get across before the gate hits you, then move on forward. And at the end, you make it to the end of this. And this would just be a little level inside of the game, just to kind of vary things up. But so I kind of have 2 levels going on right now. I need to make more. But yeah. This is my little mock-up. I really like this little animation I made. If we hit 0, this is fun. Yeah, it'll have more than just the one gate for sure. My plan actually is to have the gate traveling at the same speed as the poles, and as you are down here fighting these enemies up here, gates will kind of randomly pass by, so that when you jump up here, you might have a gate coming right at you, and you'll have to either jump back down or get across really quick. So it's all about timing. I think this should just be just a fun little break from like the main platformy vibes the rest of the game is going to have. But I really like just making this was a lot of fun. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Let me see. Let me close this. Don't save. Let me launch Godot. Now, I don't know how well this is going to run. I think I tried this before. I don't remember. But I do want to I do have not a lot of work, but I did put a little bit of work into the game. Did it just crash? I think it just crashed. Okay, never mind. Never mind on Godot. Again, I plan on getting a new computer soon. Let's see. Blender, back to our rock. You can see the texture applies to it's shifting the geometry a lot. But this is a very complex rock texture I made. If I delete this and we add a sphere, we'll do a UV sphere just because it has more geometry. Shade smooth, and we'll drop this on there. It really has a very rocky feel. And so this is a rock that I spent quite a bit of time on. Let's look at the nodes. It's also very... I guess it doesn't look like I spent a lot of time on it, but I did a lot of work on this. And then I closed it all up into this just to make it small. But we've got like, here we've got like linear light mixes to affect the mapping. And then what do we have going on here? It looks like I'm using this noise texture to mix in with this to affect the color. Yeah, so this is the color. I'm using this noise. It's black. Okay, so that's, yeah. Then we also are affecting the roughness, the shininess of the rock. So varying shininess in different areas. Then we have a bump map, and the displacement is also coming from the color? What? No, okay. I was like, that's insane. That's a dumb move, but it's coming from this. A very good rock material here. I also have a gemstone material. Let's go to my asset browser. This is very cool. And this can get very, very crystally looking. Let's go There we go. So yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely, I probably will. Thank you for stopping by, Bardos. I appreciated your time, and I hope you learned something today, even if it's small. Bye. I also have this fire material that I made, and this I really like it. I just I haven't figured it out all the way. I wanted to make a material that represented fire as well as you could do with physics simulation. So this is kind of complex, I think. I think this is actually a pretty large node, if I remember correctly. Not super large, but it's something. It's doing some stuff. It's also animated. I remember that. Can't really see it here, but it is an animated texture. And it does animate very much like fire, which is really cool. And I think I just need to change this, not that scale. Control Z. Control Shift Z. What scale do I need to change here? Actually, oh, pardon me, I'm sorry. It might be one of these scales. I don't know. This needs more work. This is very much a still an in progress project. I just kind of stopped once it looked like fire. Yeah, I need to work on this more because while it looks good, it let's see. Control A scale. Yeah, there we go. If I scale this down, there we go. That's much more fiery looking. If I come to material preview and we look at it here, give it a second to load because slow computer. Oh. I'm really upset that Godot won't load. I would like to show the game in action a little bit. There we go. We get a rough idea of what we're looking at. And if I push play, do we get to see? Yeah, it's slow, but this is the way the fire animates. Basically, what I'm doing here is having the texture move up on the Z-axis or down, whichever way. I think it's down. And it's basically, I think I'm dividing it by whatever frame we're on. I think that's what we're doing. Yeah, whatever frame it is, I divide it by -500. And then, so it makes it really tiny and it makes it go down. And then you get this like evolution that creates a very fire-like look. And then if you look at that in cycles, you get this little ball of fire. You can also change the colors over here. I don't know why I have them so muted. Let me see. I want to change this brighter. And then I can change this brighter. I see why this one was darker. But yeah, little fire material. And then let's see. Actually, I think I've been streaming for about 2 hours. I think that's a good stream time for me. I think I might take a break, eat some breakfast, maybe come back and stream a little bit later today, but I don't know. Thank you guys for stopping by. I really do appreciate that. Just keep an eye out for my streams if you want. I definitely want to stream more often, especially as I'm making this game. So, yeah, see you guys all next time, and I hope if I don't see you again today, I hope you have a great day, and I hope you have a great week, or whenever I see you, until I see you next time.